Better Daily, where we work hard in our minds, bodies, and our spirits to become 1% better every single day. Download the app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live to catch the video version of these podcasts. Here's your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What is up, Better Daily? I am your host, Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live, and today is Nutrition Tip Tuesday. Thank you guys for joining me for Nutrition Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about magnesium. And magnesium is a powerful and extremely important essential nutrient in your diet, and especially at this time of year, because of our relative sugar intake. So I'm excited to dive into that. Before I do, I just want to say thank you to Tommy May for inviting us to join you for, I want to say it's the ASICS Runkeeper Global Race event. We had a grand old time. I ran a 10K. We had several people in here who ran a 5K. Tommy beat me by about a minute per mile for the 10K, the 6 miles there. So well done, sir, on that excellent pace. And we had a grand old time with that. So you rock. Coach Jess, we're still waiting for your time. Get in here, man. I want to see that 5K time so we can say we all completed the race. Good morning, KT. Speaking of people completing the race, high five, chick. You rocked that, and it was awesome running with you. So I'm excited because we're going to be doing a turkey trot the day after Thanksgiving here in Better Daily, and we're going to be doing that virtually, so there'll be a post going out about that, how you make that happen and whatnot, and walkers are welcome. So if you're not much for running at the moment, that is okay. You can complete the 5K with us then. Good morning, Pat. Good to see you, brother. So this morning we're going to be talking about magnesium, and magnesium is an important essential nutrient in our diet that we can get from dark leafy greens. We can get them from nuts and seeds. You can get them from my personal favorite source, sardines, which are packed with magnesium. But magnesium is also a very powerful supplemental recommendation. And as a trainer and nutrition coach and health coach, I have recommended lots and lots of supplements over the last 16 years, although I'm a supplement minimalist, which means if you can get it from your diet, then I prefer that we get it from your diet. And supplements are an extremely helpful thing to add to the diet when something might be lacking, or we're in an extreme period of adaptation. Perhaps we've been injured, or perhaps you're relatively new to the exercise program that you're currently undertaking, or maybe it's particularly hot outside, and so we need to replenish certain nutrients that you're losing in your sweat, that sort of thing. And so that said, this time of year is an exceptionally important time of year for two supplements in particular. I've already talked about vitamin D recently, so I won't rehash that, but if you're not already taking it, take vitamin D and take enough of it. This is an important time of year to be doing so. But magnesium is the other one that I find to be an essential nutrient around this time of year. Now, if you're magnesium deficient, then you might notice several symptoms regarding magnesium that magnesium can be helpful for inside of you. So one of the things that magnesium can do is it can lower your blood pressure. So magnesium is the relaxing ion, whereas calcium is the contracting ion. And so imagine when you flex your muscle cells use something called a calcium channel to create tension, to contract, right? That's how you flex. That's how your muscles do their job. So your heart does the same thing. The calcium channel allows your heart to contract like it's supposed to. And your arteries are made of cardiac tissue, which is very, very similar to muscle tissue. There's some distinct differences, but it's still able to contract. Your arteries actually, like muscles, can contract. They can create blood pressure changes throughout the body. So if you have enough calcium, that's great. They can do their contracting job. But the other ion required to relax those muscle tissue cells, arteries and muscle alike, is magnesium. And so when you flex like this, that's calcium. When you relax the muscle, when the muscle gets to lengthen and relax, that's magnesium. And so magnesium can actually reduce blood pressure. That's a very well-studied phenomenon, especially if you're deficient in magnesium. This time of year, let's say things are particularly stressful for you, maybe family's visiting, maybe there are a lot of work demands as the fiscal year just ended and maybe things are turning over for you, or maybe it's just a stressful time because there's a lot of traveling and stuff involved. So whatever the stress might be, magnesium is helpful from a blood pressure perspective. Another reason magnesium is helpful at this time of year is that magnesium is a very powerful part of sugar regulation. So magnesium, as a essential nutrient, allows our body to go through the metabolic process of responding to blood sugar when it's too high with good insulin. And it's actually been shown, if you're deficient in magnesium, and even if you're not, supplementing with magnesium actually improves your blood sugar stability. And so at this time of year, especially when there are holiday treats and stuff available, or perhaps you're eating a little out of the ordinary. Even if you're not going for the holiday treats, you still might be, like, I just spoke with a client recently who did some traveling, and while she was on the road, it's like, what is there to eat? So she found herself eating a lot more carbohydrates than she's used to eating in being sedentary while she's on the road. And so magnesium is an important part of helping to stabilize those blood sugars and insulin. Magnesium is also helpful for flexibility. You might notice that if you're having trouble touching your toes, for instance, or you're having trouble with certain ranges of motion in your exercise, this time of year especially, if you're getting lower and lower in magnesium, perhaps you're not eating as many dark leafy greens or something along those lines, then magnesium supplementation could be helpful for restoring that flexibility. This is the time of year where people get injured most frequently. And they'll say things like, oh, my muscles were just cold and so it wasn't ready for the run or something like that. But it could also be possible that you are magnesium deficient and you need to consume some of that. Slight side effect of magnesium in a positive direction is it's actually helpful for cardiovascular performance. There have been studies done that actually show that magnesium seems to help with oxygen deliverability. So having a little bit of magnesium just before your cardio workout will actually increase your thresholds for performance and increase your VO2. Just a little bit. It's not like, Hulk mega drink here, but just a little bit, just enough for an edge. And yes, I did consume magnesium prior to my 10K, and Tommy May still beat me. So nice job, buddy. Gonna need more than magnesium to beat you. So the last thing, though, that magnesium can be powerful for, and this is especially for the guys, is magnesium can also be helpful for elevating testosterone. And it's not necessarily that you take magnesium and then, you get more testosterone. It's that if you're magnesium deficient, you won't be able to produce the amount of testosterone that you could otherwise. And magnesium and vitamin D work really closely in tandem on that particular front. And so you've heard me say before that vitamin D is an important part of the men's health component of that, and then magnesium is the other missing side. Now, if you're looking to add a magnesium supplement to your diet, then here in Better Daily, if you click the little 3-bar line at the top right of the app, you'll see that there are some resources there. Go to nutrition resources, and then there are some supplemental recommendations. I have the link that I recommend to my clients in particular, because it really matters what magnesium you take, depending on how much of it you actually absorbed, right? So this is magnesium bisglycinate. And most of this magnesium, when you consume it, ends up in your bloodstream. And that's what you want, because there's magnesium oxide, there's magnesium citrate, there's magnesium malate, and those three generally don't have great absorption rates. I'm not saying they're bad for you, but they don't have great absorption rates. And if you have a finicky large intestine, like I do, then it will actually make your large intestine hold on to water rather than extract water from your food. And I'll let you put 2 and 2 together about what that does with your excrement. I was trying to find a different word for poop. Anyway, it's not good for your poop. It's just bad. It's rough on your digestive tract that way. So magnesium oxide, citrate, and malate, you can take them. They're not going to hurt you, but they might function as a stool softener. And that's not really the effect that we were hoping to go for, unless you're looking to go for that. You know where you can find it. But magnesium bisglycinate absorbs very rapidly and readily into the bloodstream, and very, very little of it ends up in your large intestine, and therefore you don't end up with a whole bunch of water accumulation. And so if you're not currently taking magnesium and you would benefit from slightly lower blood sugar, from slightly improved cardiovascular performance, from increased flexibility, and perhaps a slight boost to your testosterone, then you need to be getting some magnesium in your life right now. And it will make a difference. It will make a difference. Oh, and that insulin thing over the holidays, man. A lot of people don't know this, but when you ask your metabolism to work overtime to process all those extra holiday calories, fine. Especially if you're trained, it's probably pretty good for you to feast now and then. At the same time, though, it requires a lot of nutrients. It requires a lot of resources to get those things processed. And most of the foods that we're eating in the holiday season aren't exactly very high in nutrients, right? Christmas cookies are wonderful, very high in calories, very, very low in literally every other nutrient, right? And the same thing goes for brownies, and the same thing goes for pumpkin pie, and the same thing goes for gravy and all of the things, right? And so I encourage you to be really cognizant about making sure that you get the nutrients that you need during the season, especially if you're continuing to train, especially if you're continuing to do progressive overload, which means you're trying to make gains. You're doing things that are harder and harder each week. Maybe you're running faster, maybe you're running farther, maybe you're lifting heavier, maybe you're doing more circuits or something along those lines. If you're doing those things, please make sure you get enough nutrients, because I'd hate for you to get injured. It's not the cold. It's definitely not like, oh, I'm cold and stiff. Like, you're not cold and stiff. Your body maintains a wonderful temperature year round, and you're just fine. Let's make sure that we give it what it needs to perform well in this season. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on Nutrition Tip Tuesday here in Better Daily Live. You guys rock. I'm really excited for tomorrow's Wildcard Wednesday, which you'll see tomorrow. So until then, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for your 1% Better today. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast. Leave us a raving review to tell others how Better Daily has helped you in your journey. If you want more Better Daily, download our app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. Use code POD to get 25% off your subscription. That's POD, all caps, to save 25% on your subscription. We all have a cross to carry. It's lighter when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.live today.